So, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and in the case of federal employees, the Rehabilitation Act, as well as a number of state law disability statutes, provide for the issue of reasonable accommodation. If you're disabled and working in the workplace, and you are finding that it's difficult for you to do the essential functions of your job, you are permitted to ask for a reasonable accommodation for your disability to allow you to perform those essential functions. Knowing those rights are important. Reasonable accommodations could include modified work schedules. It could include assistive technology. It could include physical adjustments to your workspace or remote work options. In many instances, a person's disability that creates symptoms, and you're looking for ways to address your work environment so that those symptoms are minimized. You're allowed to perform the essential functions of your job. So the next question then becomes, how do you make the request? The first thing you don't have to do is to do something formal. There's no magic words. Meet with your employer, meet with your supervisor, meet with the human resources department. Tell them you're having difficulties in performing one or more essential functions of your job and that you require an accommodation in order to help you do that. Make some suggestions. But I would say this, you can state it verbally, you can put it in writing, but it's really important that you and your employer engage in what's called the interactive process. Those are words that are specific under the law. They can't just say, I'm not going to do it. They have to really sit down and talk it through with you. And employers are allowed to ask you in that instance more questions about your disability to understand what your disability is in terms of your symptoms to determine whether or not you have a documented disability and whether those symptoms impede your ability to do your job. And so you need to work with your employer in good faith. Sometimes that includes providing medical documentation, could include meeting with HR and the supervisor to provide accommodation requests and specific things for them to consider. And that's all part of it. I would strongly recommend, as a final point, that you follow up in writing so that you have a record of what you've done, because it's an important process and it takes time. It's not a one-stop solution. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at Siegel Law. Happy to answer any questions you have.